Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday night. Thank you for
Hello.
joining us again at Nuestra Tabla Rasa. Hello, Victor. Hello, Trista. Hello, Lucky.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I still have my volume.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, Tulsi.
Look who's there.
Tulsi. Psst, 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 psst.
Hi. So, how were your weeks? Victor, how was your week?
That was good. That was good. I have no complaints. Doing a lot of physical labor, but that's okay. And um, on the spiritual side, it's been very good actually. Very good. So lots of personal growth and interesting moments. And I'm ready. I'm just ready. Ready for
Ec-
whatever the universe brings. I'm
Excellent.
happy to be here tonight.
Awesome. How about you, Trista?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty low key kind of week, I think, for me. But good. Yeah, no complaints.
Definitely not as busy as the week before, where you were
Yes.
like
Yeah.
on every night. But we,
Yeah.
I feel like we've been on this week a lot too, though. So cool.
Yeah. It was good. Awesome.
How about you, Lucky?
Great. Drove my wife to the Thai temple and we spent a little while there and then drove home. I'm kind of tired, but it was a good day.
Okay,
My wife
peaceful.
got her Thai food, which she can make her own Thai food. We won't talk about that, but she got other people making her Thai food. Let's just say that.
I just need 1 second. I'll be back.
I
Sorry.
need
Okay.
I need I need to add one thing too, Millie, is I am the current. Last night I had a big milestone in my trivia part of my world.
You did, you
So
did. You had another trophy.
if you missed it last night at the Witches 3, yes, I won. The only reason I won though is I think because the source left. The source was winning big time, and
Yeah, he got in there and he was like knocking everyone down.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, you came up from behind. I mean, we were neck and neck, and then all of a sudden, and he took home the trophy.
took home the trophy. Brought home the lettuce, the green, and
Yes. So what's
also
your new title?
my new title,
Mm.
trivia. What is it? Trivia winner,
Was it?
or
Oh, I thought it was pinball trivia winner.
oh, pinball
Oh,
wizard.
pinball wizards. Yes.
Something like that. But the thing is in that game, I was doing great because I was up there, I think, right behind you, and then I missed one question and got knocked all the way down to like below Trista. I got knocked all the way down to like ninth.
Below Trista.
Had to claw my way back up.
I
So,
know. I got
so
knocked
fun,
out.
fun episode last night. Fun episode last night.
It was. That was a good game night. I like that. Well, while Trista's doing what she's doing, tonight I thought we would keep it in the middle between a little bit bizarre and just looking back on our milestones and how far we've come. Because I think right now there's a lot of upgrades going on, and some people maybe are getting hammered with that solar energy. I think that I'm starting to not be as bothered, although here and there I do feel it. But we've been getting a lot of Schumann resonance. Yeah, that's it, coming in, and I'm not feeling it as much as I used to. So I'm kind of hoping that even though the numbers keep going higher, I've managed to get to a point where I've learned how to stabilize. But there are some that have come into the spiritual journey that have started off their journeys with some real crazy out of this world stuff. And I am particularly not one of these people, but I've heard many stories. One in particular that I remember from Adam about him seeing flashes of light and just really like meditating and knowing everything in his universe was completely different than he had been taught his whole life. And I think that that's kind of pretty cool to have something hit you in a flash like that and just know. Whereas I feel like I'm getting breadcrumbs and I keep going and I'm not in any way complaining. I mean, this is how it's been for me and it's been enlightening. But I was curious to see what others on the panel and others in the audience have experienced. And, do you have any bizarre stories or any bizarre moments? So we're
Awesome.
waiting for Trista.
Hey, can we get some mega loud shout outs?
Yeah. You want to say hello?
I couldn't hear you. You went muffled for some reason.
Oh, I was like, would you like to say some hellos?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, you can. I will. All right. Oh, we got Amaya here. And Amaya, we're going to tell you that you're going to be so A-OK and better than before when you get out and recuperate. So,
Hmm.
we're sending you prayers and we're with you every step of the way. Don't be thinking negative or bad things because then you're calling that into you. So just, we love you and we're happy to see you here and just relax. No tension, no fear. Linda
No
Jean is
worry.
here. No worry. Good to see you, Linda Jean. Diana. Woohoo. Let's see. Richard is here. Thank you for sharing our link. Kim Kits. Kim. Kim keeps baking and making me like I'm gonna have to head over to where she is because she just seems to bake like every other night, and I like
Ooh.
that. Yeah. So enjoy your banana bread. Sarah, time for beaching. Good to see you.
Cerebellum.
Yeah. Mary wins. Hi. Clint. Clint is here.
Clint. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Oh, he's talking something about protein diet. Oh, that's so good. I need to eat less rice. Okay, what do we got here? Suki, good to see you. Lovey, thank you for staying up. I don't even know what
Lovey.
ungodly hour it is by you, but I appreciate you being here. And dun dun dun. Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? I know some people went to bed early, and I don't blame them. I think that's it. Did I miss anybody? I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Nope, I got everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna say hello to the replay gang as well. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so we're waiting.
I
Okay,
guess
we can start.
I
We
think
can
Lucky
just.
has a good story under his belt.
I have a lot of stories. Guess I could talk about my haunted house.
Ooh.
Um, I grew up. I had an imaginary friend. He got me into trouble. My parents didn't like it. That's the long story short. But one day in my late teens, I snuck a girl into the house.
Uh-oh.
Um, and for some reason, we got talking about my childhood and my imaginary friend. And literally, he was real. I could see him. And she's like, ah, that's crazy. And I explained that, everything about him. And she's sitting on my bed, just sitting there talking. And then I walked out because my cat was calling me. I went to feed the cat, and she screamed. And I walked in, and I said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" She said, "Something. It grabbed me under the bed. It's like someone's under your bed." And I said, "There's nothing under my bed." She goes, "No, no, there's something under your bed. I don't know what it is. It grabbed me." So I lifted up the cover and
Oh,
showed her. Under my bed was nothing because my parents, that was one thing, you didn't hide anything under the bed because I was a hoarder, so I just throw things under there. And that was one time where I cleared it out. And that's soon after, that's when my mother came down and found out the girl in my room, but because she screamed. Um, so after that, um, my wife was over, when we were just dating, actually, whatever. She's over, and I had a parrot. I was talking to the parrot, and then um, I left. And I left the room to go again, probably feed the cat or something. And I came back. My wife said, "Some little kid is looking in the window." I'm like, little kid? I'm like,
Ooh.
there's no little kid. She goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And she explained what he looked like, little blonde hair. He couldn't have been more like 8 or 10. I don't know.
oh
And
wow.
I'm like, oh no, it's Charlie. Who's Charlie? No name Charlie. I'm like, that's why I had to explain my story. She goes, yeah, no, we don't talk about this because my wife is Thai, so everything, ghost stuff, kind of freaks her out.
Also, she didn't realize that she
Oh,
was
she
looking at a
didn't know
ghost.
she didn't know it was a ghost because he didn't look like a ghost. But the thing about my parrot is she hated little kids looking because my nieces and nephews to look in my bedroom window and freak out the parrot. And unfortunately, the little boy was looking in the window and the parrot wasn't reacting. So the parrot didn't see it. My wife saw the little boy looking in the window.
And that was your imaginary friend.
My imaginary friend Charlie. Yeah. He has a few stops. And when I moved out, my sister moved into the house. My poor mother. She never had it. Let us go for too long. And she moved in with my nephew, and he was probably about 5 at the time. And he began talking about the little boy who lived in Uncle's room. And I'm gone. The room is empty. And she goes, little boy? And he started talking about the little boy who was hiding in my room, which, again, I'm gone. And my sister started screaming at my mother to get down here. And, and again, my mother called me and says, yeah, can you make your little imaginary friend go away now? I'm like, no, I have no power over that one. No. So, yeah, he's had a few spots. He's been living in the house. What it is I lived on the Nemasket River, and it was about 8 acres. Little right behind the house was the river, and at the front of the house, about 200 feet, is a cemetery where Charlie's buried.
Oh,
So Charlie fell in the water like miles up. Him and his dog drowned, and they both washed up where my mother's house is now. And then they took him, and then they buried him in the cemetery at the front of the things. Yeah. So he lives where he died, and is his body, and then it's
wow.
how I found out he was buried there. I started talking about information about it, what he used to wear and everything, and that's when one of the nuns who the priest didn't want me in the church, but the nun thought I was interesting enough that I wasn't causing trouble, and she knew the story. She did the research. A Catholic nun, did the research and then put the pieces together, and basically said that maybe someday I can help him go to heaven, but right now he's doing his penance or something like that. This is his purgatory or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Is that how you know that his name was Charlie, or did you just name him Charlie?
No, I knew his name was Charlie. Yeah, I didn't know, but I didn't know he was buried in the cemetery in front of our house.
So, like, he told you, oh, hi,
No,
my
he
name's
told me
Charlie.
everything. He talked all about his story. He used to hang out. We used to go fishing with him and everything. I got in so much trouble from this imaginary friend.
Whoa.
Did he happen to be a unicorn by any chance? If his name was Charlie?
No, he's not.
Oh, that's right.
He was an 18th century Civil War little boy with a dog,
Wow.
or it was a American bulldog.
Wow.
Not very big dog. It was a small dog.
And you saw the dog too?
Oh, the dog occasionally. I didn't see the dog, but the dog was. I think he manifested the dog more than anything else, because I don't know if there was really a ghost dog as much as I only saw the ghost dog with him, never apart, and it was every so often.
Lucky, have you ever seen the movie Drop Dead Fred?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's exactly what happened. The Drop Dead Fred thing is when we saw the Drop Dead Fred, and then I snuck her into the house, and I was talking. Oh, that stupid movie is the reason why Charlie grabbed her under the bed, because she was talking negatively about my imaginary friend. Oh my God, that's why. I couldn't remember why I would ever bring up this imaginary friend to this girl. Oh my God, yes, it was Drop Dead Fred movie. Yes.
Now, could he do anything? Did you ever task him with, like, hey, do my homework, or pick up my room, or anything like that? Could he do anything physical?
No, I was a little kid, and he just talked. I didn't know nothing physical.
Did you know he was a ghost?
No, I didn't know anything about it. I was too young. I stopped seeing him when I was probably 5 or 6, anyways, because Catholic. He was a demon at that point. That's when the church labeled him a demon, because my parents made me talk to the priest, and he for some reason he knew information that I shouldn't know about the city or the town, because the priest was an old person from the town, and he knew stuff that a kid shouldn't know.
Hmm. About the kid?
Know about this town. There was some stuff about the town that the townies knew that I didn't understand, and I guess it really freaked the priest out. The
Huh.
stories about what was happening down in the middle of the 1800s.
Oh.
Some 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 nasty stuff happened to people when they came back to the Civil War. There was some really messed up people from the Civil War, and
Oh.
he was young when they came back, and he would talk about people just missing arms and missing legs and just in bad condition. I guess we don't talk about what the Civil War did to some people mind wise, but the priest knew some of the stories.
Oh. Wow.
I didn't. I was a little kid. How would I know about people with, missing arms and legs?
Hmm.
Missing parts of their faces too, which is it was some pretty nasty stories that a 4-year-old child should not be able to talk about. And I didn't see them. Charlie would talk about them, and how they traumatized him as a ghost because he was maybe 8 or 9.
Wow. But no one else in your family can see? Like no one else sees him or sees apparitions,
Oh,
ghosts, what have you?
only my nephew. My nephew saw him later, and it really messed with my nephew. My nephew became a drug addict afterwards. He's fine now, but because that kind of triggered his ability to see. And I was telling him, trying to help him. My mother and my sister wanted me to stop talking and helping him because they thought it was encouraging the ability. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to help him control it. And they told me not to. And then, you know, this was
Are
later.
you sure? Are you sure
What?
that Are you sure other people in your family maybe just didn't talk about it?
No. Well, how would I know that? If they didn't talk about it, how would I know?
Well, you know stuff without knowing it.
Well, they didn't know his name. They didn't see
And
him. My nephew.
not necessarily him, but have that ability.
No. Well, I honestly, later in life they would come to me and ask me questions about things, like
Hmm.
insights.
Hmm.
So whether they have it or not, it was latent because they didn't like talking about it because I have a sixth sense with certain things. And
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
although my niece has like I had an ability with animals. I had some I grew up a horse farm. I had some pretty terrible horses that I trained down, calmed them down, and my niece would go out in the horse pasture and talk to the horses when she shouldn't have been out there because her parents weren't watching her. And again, my sister was living with my mother at the time when I had moved out, and she had my nephew, and then her baby, his sister. And then when she grew up, every so often she'd run into the pasture with the horses and talk to the horses, and some of the horses were really nasty, but they were fine with her. So the ability is there. It's just how much I don't know. My mother, my sister, they don't talk about it, so I don't know. Yeah, I have
Hmm.
some pretty nasty stories though, because when we had ghosts who used to walk around the building and chant and make sounds, but only when I was asleep. Which my mother would come down and wake me up. Says they're here, they're outside. I'm like, what's outside? They're chanting around the house. But when I woke up, they stopped. And
Whoa.
well, at that time,
Anisha.
my stepfather was living with us, and he was a drug addict, which no one knew, and he was a bad, bad person. But he was pretending to be a good person. And after the fact, I think my spirit friends are trying to get rid of him. But it was weird. Maybe I was trying to because it only happened when I was asleep. When I was awake, it would stop, and it was not in the house; it was outside the house. There was sounds of like they were either native or they said they were cults. It was a cult running around, walking around the house, outside the house, chanting. Um, I don't know.
Did you make out what they were chanting?
I was asleep, so I don't know.
Oh,
They didn't.
oh.
They didn't know. They didn't know. I never heard it. It was only when I was asleep, and it was freaking them all out. My sister was in tears and told me never to. And she would only weird. I was probably 16. My sister was 14, and she would only sleep in the same room with me, knowing that they're not going to get me. So they won't get her if they don't get me. So my sister was sleeping in my bedroom with me because I used to sleep in the basement. I don't know why. It was unheated basement where I would sleep. My sister had an upstairs bedroom, but during that time, which actually makes sense because that way she was safe. Huh. But again, when she was sleeping in the room with me, they would also never come around. So it might have been to protect her. Who knows? But after I
Wow.
stepped further left, it stopped. So I don't know.
That's
I
interesting.
have I have dozens of these stupid stories.
That's
No,
good.
I mean it's wow.
And you've been awakened your whole. You consider yourself awakened from the get go, right?
Early in life, probably from 4 or 5 ish until maybe 12, it was shut off because
Oh,
I
okay.
needed it because again, imaginary friend demon. My parents told me not to do it, so I basically ignored Charlie, so he would go away, and he did because And then basically once I hit puberty, a little later, it started coming back uncontrollably. So yeah, um,
Hmm.
that was probably about then, which is like probably my first UFO encounter where I saw up because where we were was a little bit high land, and I saw something circling way over the swamp, way far away. And I was telling my cousins about it, and they go, "Ah, it's stupid. Yeah, whatever. You're trying to scare us." So we're outside, pitch dark. After we do the hay, put the hay in the barn, shut the light off, sitting outside, we're talking about it. And I was, oh, it was right over. Now my other cousins were, trying to get me to talk about this. So I said, okay, fine. I started talking about it. Over there, there was this thing was flying over the swamps way over there, and all of a sudden, the sky lit up. This blue flash went across the whole sky, and this thing came flying over us, just shoom.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and that was my only UFO encounter. And they freaked out.
Okay, I was gonna ask you if they saw it. Okay.
We all saw it, and I froze and said, "Wow!" 'Cause I just told the story, and it just happened. So
Wow.
I could have manifested the
Yeah.
friggin' thing, but
That's auspicious, right, Trista?
but again, this was right beginning of puberty when I was out of control. So I might have manifested the whole thing and made us all have the illusion. But again, it was
It's pretty
uh,
powerful.
my main cousin, the troublemaker, who I told the story before. My two female cousins and another male cousin. It was two males and two female cousins were sitting outside because they were going to help us do the hay and everything. Because they also would, because my aunts had horses too, but we stored all the hay in one barn, and it was of course pitch dark at that point. So I'm telling, so all the kids had to do the work on, stacking the hay bales in the right way, and that's when I told my story and the flash and the thing flying over, and um, again, that was probably the closest encounter that I saw. It was the weirdest thing, which could have been an illusion that I tricked everyone, but
That's quite an illusion.
And if you can remember that date too, if you can remember the date that happened, you can go to ufocenter.com and see if it's in their database. And if it's not, you can put it in.
mm,
So,
Oh,
but maybe worth a look because somebody else may have reported it. That's why if you ever have a sighting or anything to any of you on the panel here or in the chat, if you ever have a sighting, go to UFO Center. That's the National UFO database. It's really pretty cool because you can look at your area, and you might look through, like for Trista or something, look through Edmonton, and hey, there was a sighting. Oh my God, that was right. I was right there, or something like that. You get to see how
oh,
close you are to some of them.
Hmm.
It's pretty fun.
that is fun. Wow. So that's pretty amazing, Lucky. And I think it's kind of cool that at least the UFO got seen by other people, even though the imaginary friends only got seen later in life by your nephew, who I'm sure if you were able to sit and talk to him, I mean, I don't know if he would talk about it now, but if you were
No,
able to sit and talk to him, if he would
he
talk,
refused. He
no.
refuses. He refuses to talk about it. They're
Mm.
mad at me for it. My family is actually angry with me about Charlie. They think that I created him, and I'm like, but he has a history. The nun would, because the nun's, well, she's dead by now, but she found his history, and I'm like, Charlie had a history. We talked about his history. The nun filled it in afterwards. I didn't make up the history and to match the gravestone. She told me about him. She found the gravestone. But again,
Oh.
to my family, they think I created the imaginary friend at 4 or 5 from a gravestone in from the cemetery in front of our house.
Hmm.
But also, we used to play in the cemetery. It's a cemetery, not graveyard, cemetery. We used to play in it and read the different inscriptions. And one day we're sitting there talking, like, what would happen if one of these just opened up? And then we heard this creaking sound like a door opening. So I am
Oh,
not a good. My
okay.
cousins hated me because I don't know. I mean, in my own house, one day I was sitting there talking to my aunt, and I was talking about that sometimes the weirdest stuff happens. She goes, it's all your imaginations. And it sounded like the other room, a plate glass window smashed in the kitchen. We had a tile floor, and it sounded like a piece of glass the size of, I don't know, 4 foot by 4 foot just came and smashed in the kitchen. So I would go run in there, and there's nothing. The room is clean, immaculate. And that's when my aunt says, I don't want you talking to me anymore.
Oh,
I don't have a good relationship with my family, quite honestly.
they're just afraid because I mean that's some pretty powerful stuff. My
And
God.
I'm also told at funerals not to talk to anybody because I tend to see people who are there.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, I have stories of that. That's another thing where my aunt who had passed away, who the same aunt who the plate glass window smashed. I went to her funeral, and she was mad, 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 and I knew that because she was yelling at me about they screwed up everything and everything. And I told my mother, I'm like, "Yeah, Aunt Sue's here." She goes, "Oh no, what's wrong?" I said, "She's mad. She's mad that they messed up her coffin, and the flowers are wrong, and this and that." And my mother, who knew what was in her will, however she wanted, and everything was not what she wanted, because she was one of those people who like had everything perfect. And her own, she had like 5 kids, and her 5 kids tended to do it their way, so they could have a good presentation and show off to their friends and everything. Um,
no.
so my mother said to me, because of course, at which point I did not do the receiving line and talk to my cousins, and my sister's like mad at me, says you talk to your cousins, and my mother said no, he's not talking to the cousins, he's staying right here and not talking to everyone. Actually, she said it in a very much more, she used a lot of swear words. My mother doesn't swear, and just said that I am not to talk to anyone.
Okay, I could see.
I not a good person with my family. They do not like some of my antics. Yes, I have a lot of stories in my life. I am amazed how many stories at this point, so they keep coming up with more.
I love it. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was at another family uh, funeral where there was a little girl with the uncle, and my mother was like, who do you see now? I'm like, some little girl is with our uncle. I don't know who she is. I have no idea who she is. And my mother turned white and said he had a child before our aunt, and the mother and the girl passed away unexpectedly in a car accident,
Oh wow.
and no one, even the cousins didn't know because it was well before them. Um,
Oh,
and
you're exposing the family secrets, but I mean, I guess if he was married and it's not.
no, no, he wasn't married. It was a
Oh,
Catholic family. It was
oh,
it was shunned. It was, yeah. I have a lot of stories like that where again my he was passed away. Everything's fine. And my little girl, mother's like, no, don't talk. Don't tell your cousins. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell your sister. This is family secret. You shouldn't know this stuff.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
so the
Oh
family secrets. You're exposing the family secrets. The one he thought he took to the grave.
well, I
Well, he did. He did. It just got
he
away
did.
after.
Yeah, you bet. She was there with him, and he was happy with her. I mean, she came back to sit with him, and he was at his own funeral, hanging out with his family. Happy. He was happy. That was one thing about that. He was happy, but I was like, who's a little girl? I don't know, who's a little girlish because she was like maybe 3 or 4, a little
Oh,
girl, ghost girl, um, and at his funeral. So it might have helped him to pass over, but he was with the family. I don't know. I don't know the whole story with that one either. Because again, I couldn't ask anyone anything.
hmm.
I'm not a medium. Mediums talk about this thing. I just see weird stuff and don't
They don't
try
talk
not.
to you?
I as little as possible talk to them because they tend to get really, really demanding sometimes.
So is that like on Ghost, where if they realize that you like the movie Ghost, if they realize you can see them and interact with them, then they bug the holy heck out of you?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
is really close. It is, I would say,
And then you need to make
90%
pottery
I'm
pottery.
sorry, what?
Oh
Oh,
my
and
gosh.
ghosts.
okay, okay.
Oh, pottery.
Mm,
Yeah, like the famous scene where she's making pottery and he's behind her and it's all romantic.
mm-hmm.
It's okay. Maybe only women remember that one.
I remember it, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't encourage you. That's why. So I'm just gonna pretend I don't remember it.
There you go.
Karen Suki says you could make a living, earn a living as a medium. Lucky. Have you ever considered it?
No, it's not. For me, it's not as fun. Honestly, those like Ghost Adventures and that other one with that really nice woman with the policeman. My ghost stories are not as fun. They're boring. Nothing scary. I don't see demons. I don't see scary. I don't have any of those negative. I was told to help with their demon, and it was just a protective spirit. I know nothing I
Mm-hmm.
have is excited. Usually, when I have helped people, it's because they were stupid. Um, it's like there's like dogs. A dog who misbehaves, it's usually the owner messed up. When ghosts
Hmm.
misbehave, it's usually the owners of the place that mess things up. Uh, you know, just just desecrate things, and they oh we're not that important. But I'm like, that usually was happen. I find stuff that people are doing the wrong thing. I don't have a problem with ghosts, but again, it's boring, so I can't make a living because it's boring. Everything. That's the one thing about these ghost stories is I could never. It was nothing exciting about it. I can't. It's like yeah, you're being stupid. This is why. Well, when was it that the ghost files or whatever that Amy. I don't
Ghost
know. Amy.
Hunters?
No, that's a different one. There's Amy Adams and the policeman Steve Bush something, not Buscemi, but yeah. Um, I forget the name of that show. It's Ghost Files, I think it is. Uh, she'd find haunted houses and she'd tell them, using black salt and all this great stuff, exciting stuff, to help rid the problem from the house. But me, I'm just like, it's cool, just don't mess with them.
Wow.
I usually attract weird people, but ghosts tend to be boring.
Ghosts
That's
of
why you're
look.
here.
Well, look at that. Diana's got a bunch of like ghost stories, including where she, I don't know where she put it, that there's these two ghosts that followed her family from England. So
Ooh,
somehow these ghosts are attached to the family.
that-
Well, maybe they're family members.
Maybe
Mm.
they're family members that, yeah, that no one knows about it. Wow. Yeah, no, I don't see ghosts. So is Lucky the only one on our panel that sees ghosts?
Yes, I believe so.
Hmm.
Really?
Wow.
I think that's the funniest part is like, yeah, I see dead people, but they're really boring.
Now, do you see like would you if you're on I know you do a lot of live programs, Lucky. Now, would you be able to see one like behind me or behind Tris or behind Millie if you were looking at the screen? Or do you see them when you watch other people, like if you watch a tarot reading or something like that, or watch Adam? Do you see stuff around them?
The Dead
That would
Files
be.
is the name of the show. Yes, the Dead Files. Yes, yes. If if you had a haunting behind you, I could see it. Yes, I could.
Have you ever?
Use the camera even.
The way we are right now, they're too small. No, I need a little bit more. But yes, through the
Oh, well,
camera.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes. Yes. I
Ooh.
could. If I'm watching someone, if I'm watching someone's live stream, absolutely, because I can tune in. Doing my own show, it is harder for me to read. Um, it might be wearing the headphones or stuff like that, or maybe but I could watch a show and see stuff. Yes. But doing my own show, I don't know if I can. I tend to turn it. Oh, Ghost Hunt, Ghost Adventures is yes, I agree. Jerk.
I don't know what so.
He actually has his own personal demon.
That's what somebody else just said in chat too. He has some
Really?
attachments.
Oh,
Yeah, Suki.
he has a lot of attachments.
Did you see those attachments watching the show? Is that someone that you picked up watching the show?
I can watch Ghost Adventures and know that some of those spirits are just having a lot. They're supposedly all the scary demons and scary sounds and everything. They're having a fun. They're not as bad as they seem, but again, Ghost Adventures wants that. They want that kind of thing. So yes, I've seen them before, and the Dead Files, I've seen those too. But again, for me, they're not that scary. But again, it's good for the show. If she can, which I think is why she stopped the show because she had to keep pushing and pushing up, and it got more and more difficult.
Well, you have to keep in mind too that Zach is making entertainment more so than he is about trying to give people the creeps and
Right.
give everyone the chills and give them a little bit of a fright and that just seems like one area that I don't think I would want to be messing around and trying to entertain people. That's like Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters, that was kind of like the OG of all these shows.
Yep.
And you had a plumber during the day, and I like that. But they seem to be more about the ghosts instead of this big personality involved. Because Zach's that big personality who's this and that, and runs around and gets all excited. And the Ghost Hunters was very methodical, and they had that one time, the Run Dude stuff, where that one dude took off running because he got spooked, which was hilarious. But they sold a lot of merch on stuff like that. But at least it wasn't sensationalized. And I think it just maybe not the best thing to do is to go out in that realm and take a kind of a dickhead look at it. It's kind of the way they approach it. Like, oh, I'm going to go and stimulate this ghost, or I don't know. Is Zach the one that does that goes out and really prods them and really kinds of get in their face and try to make something happen? Yeah, it's a good way to get attachments on you, so it's not completely surprising.
Yeah, and one of them left and did his own thing. It's funny, there was actually a haunted house near my house I never knew was haunted, and a guy who left Ghost Adventures, I forget his name. His name wasn't Aaron, it was the other one. He did an investigation for the Oliver Mill house, and was talking about that, which is basically about 2 miles from my house. And I never knew anything about it. I was talking to my friend about it. I'm like, yeah, our teacher lived there, and he never had a problem there. But again, now it's haunted. So, Nick, yes, Nick, who was a really nice guy because I knew the people who did the thing, and they were doing it honestly for tourism. They didn't care if it was haunted or not because again, the person who was taking the caretaker before them never had a problem, and now there were stories about it, so he wanted to do an investigation. I'm like, sure, do an investigation here so we can do the tours. Because it's a house for, they would do banquets, weddings, and stuff like that at it. Now it's also does ghost tours. And Amy Bruni, who's another ghost investigator,
Oh, I know her.
She thinks it's a tulpa. She thinks that they created it with all their stories and everything, that the hauntings there are not real, that they actually are, the people are put so much energy into creating them that they actually created their own ghosts. And that matches my stories about the guy who lived there before, who had never had a problem. But now they told all these stories about, because before him I guess there were stories were told in the, 100 years ago, there were stories about that place being haunted. That's
my theory. That's my theory for a lot of that kind of thing, honestly, is that we literally create our fears and our dark parts, dwell on it enough and it'll take on a life of its own.
And because it was born on fear, it wants to keep pushing more. So that's what I agree with. Yes, and that's one of my problems, because I've never had a problem. Although there is that family that the from Amityville Horror, in that doll Annabelle. I guess they're moving their museum from Connecticut to Salem, and Annabelle's going to move in Salem, and I don't want to meet. One of my friends was like, "Hey, let's go to Salem and see the Annabelle doll." I'm like, absolutely not, absolutely not. And it's like, but you see this stuff, it doesn't bother you, and I'm like, I don't want to meet Annabelle. I don't want haunted items, because I think you're right. I think the fear is put into them and created into them, and they feed off the fear. So people go for the excitement, and they're feeding more of that fear. You're actually feeding
it.
Loosh. Like I said, my ghost stories are all boring, and so I never, I can't really make it profitable. I can't have fun with it. But again, I don't want anything scary. So the one time I did go to a scary haunted house, I left and said, "Yeah, I'm not dealing with this."
Oh, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Good one, Diana.
Oh.
And I never did that, but I've heard that it works.
And Millie, to answer kind of the question out there, bizarre moments while on your spiritual journey, I noticed once I got heavy into mine that it seems to be around specific people. Trista. It seems to be around certain people that will bring a lot of it out in you as well. And I don't know if that person is a well, or if it is simply your interaction with that person that causes it when you bring two energies together.
I'd say it could be either.
Yeah,
because I think there are people who attract it naturally, and then I'm sure that there are like synergistic effects too, probably.
Because I've been around certain people, and it's like you're just around them for a short time, and all kinds of stuff happens, all kinds of interesting things like that. It's not necessarily ghost related, but orbs or UFOs or visitations. You name it. You name it. So, and think about it. Think about this way, just with our panel here. Is what do we create within this here, just talking about these various things that we discuss. Do we heighten each other's experience? Well, I would say yes, probably, just because we're bringing things of interest, and not necessarily knowledge, but of interest. And I think your interest can go a long way. But I don't think I have any really outstanding, bizarre moments on my journey, other than things I've already mentioned. Seeing orbs, having a sighting, which was tremendous. So I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. So, and that's the only one I've ever had after hours and hours and hours and days, or I should say nights. This doesn't sound the same. Of spending them out under the stars, looking and watching and looking and watching.
And I bet you when you saw it, it was unexpected, or you were...
Oh, no. it was unexpected, but 2 hours prior. That's why I always tell anyone that if you want to have a sighting, just go outside and say, "I want to see something definitive tonight."
Hmm.
Just say it out loud, because that's what I did, because we were eating dinner outside there in Arizona, and I said, "I want to see something definitive tonight," because we'd spend every night outside, every night, looking at the stars and had our iPads out, tracking satellites and other things. Saw some really cool fireballs. I saw a fireball come at me one night, and it literally like exploded towards me. It fell apart and exploded in the sky, and it kind of was like right here when it finally went into 500 pieces or whatever. It was the most remarkable experience. But the night I had the sighting, it was about 7 p.m. when we finished dinner. I just spoke out loud, and I wasn't demanding. I was just telling my then partner, I was like, "I want to see something definitive tonight. Jeez, we spend so much time out here. I want to see something definitive." And 2 hours later, that's when I saw it.
You see?
And it was definitive. It was enormous, and it had detail all over it. It had streamers going down the side, not like on a kite, but it's.
You knew I was about to say it.
I know. I felt it, but I saw it, and it went about the length. I went about the length of my finger up and out at altitude. It seemed like it was it was way up in the sky. It felt like it was in orbit, and it was probably about 3/4 the size of a full moon. In the sky, you couldn't miss it, and it just for a half a second, and it was either coming or going. Because some people say that these big ships that are in orbit or whatever, they either cloak when they're coming or going, so your only real window would be able to see them whenever they're coming or going. And apparently that's what I did, but I was looking right at the spot. Right at the spot. I think my eyes jumped like this far. I was looking right there, so I couldn't miss it. So
And then there's also, if they want you to see them, then they'll allow it too.
That's true. That's true.
That's pretty cool.
And it's too bad Laura's not still here, because this gets into that SSP stuff. But I think I've had that conversation with her. So
I think you have to be open to see all these things too. I mean, I don't know how that would explain a child, but maybe it's just because they're just naturally open. But as an adult, I think that, and I've been kind of saying that because for the longest time I was like, "Oh, I can't see that. I can't see. I don't want to see, my sister sees stuff." And I would just be like, "Oh, well, they know who, can see stuff because I don't want to see anything." And where I've seen like, shimmer out of the corners of my eyes, and I've seen like fairies running and things like that, I haven't seen a dead person, or any kind of ghost. And my sister will see them, at the foot of her bed and stuff. And she knows, or we used to live at one time at a garden apartment, and she'd come home very late waitressing, and at the time she didn't have a parking spot. And right past our garden apartment complex, there was a mausoleum and a cemetery. So sometimes, there was only one side of the street that you would park on, and she would have to park way down by the cemetery and start, walking up the sidewalk by the cemetery and then the mausoleum and stuff, and she would see dead people, and I'd be like freaking out, but she apparently was ready for that. But I have put it out there, hey, I want to see more things, show me. So we'll see. I will tell you that a couple of weeks ago when we did that episode on the fairies, I said, okay, I'm ready to see fairies. I really want to see them. And I think I said I opened up a portal, actually, inviting my unicorn to come visit me.
Ooh.
And no sooner than that I closed my eyes, that I heard scurrying around in the yard and like little kids laughing. And no sooner than I said it, that I forgot what I just called in. And I went a good like 5 minutes, very long 5 minutes, freaking out, saying, okay, are you going to stand up? What the hell is that? What's going on out there? And it was only a few minutes later that I realized, oh, wait a minute, you idiot. What did you just do? So I haven't seen them or heard them since, even though I tried to call them back and said, hey, I'm sorry. But we're going to try that again at some point.
Yeah, I'm in trouble.
You see? And that goes with us activating ourselves, right? Because you were like, you didn't want to see them.
Yeah, I'm reading about them now, and this book is mostly about debunking some stories, and then I don't know the other ones. He basically says, okay, here's the history, investigated. Okay, this is the answer behind that. Other times we don't have. There's no explanation for this one. But yeah, he's got some great stories, that's for sure. He goes state by state. It's pretty. I haven't studied Massachusetts yet. I'm actually right at the part with Massachusetts. I read Maine. Maine is crazy. Maine's got some crazy stories.
Hmm. I haven't been that far up, but
This one's something to consider too when you start talking about wanting to see things. And I think I presented this to a few of you. Have you ever thought about, oh yeah, it'd be so cool because you might be sitting there chewing the fat with your friends or something and said, oh yeah, I'd love to see an alien. Or you see a movie and, oh, I would react a certain way. Well, really think about it, really dig into it and say, do you really, I mean, if something appeared right here in your room right now, right beside you, outside of you being surprised, essentially because of something popping up right here next to you. But think about that. Because see, I think I would rather have that visitation than have fairies because I don't have that much knowledge about them, whereas I seem to have a little bit more knowledge about our ET friends. So it's just, or maybe it's interest, I don't know, but really, are you really ready to see what you think you want to see?
I think you're right with that because I've meditated and seen and I know it's one of my guides now. At the time, I didn't know, but I had a blue being next to me that looked very much like a person from the Blue Man Group, bald
Mm.
and very blue skin like that, and he was wearing a uniform that kind of looked like a Starfleet uniform with it was blue with
Wow.
gold piping. And he was right next to me, and we were doing, one of my friends was doing a singing bowl thing. This was years ago, and I'm closing my eyes, getting into the meditation, and I saw him with my eyes closed, and then I kind of opened, and I felt his presence, but I couldn't see him with my eyes open, but I definitely saw him with my eyes closed, and I definitely felt the presence, and it didn't scare me. With the fairies, I think it was more than just hearing them, like the energy was very magical, very raw. It was different. There was something very, very energizing, and it wasn't like I thought it would be, maybe, because I thought I was calling in a unicorn, and I didn't think that I was going to hear running in the yard, and like I said, the laughter, and like it was like a whole scene I invited in. So that was pretty wild in that sense, as opposed to just seeing one thing. I think if I saw one thing and it was right in my face, you can't deny it, and I may jump, but I'd be okay with it. But I think just spending a few minutes and actually feeling like you're going maybe into a portal or going into something else, that's a little bit unnerving.
Hmm. Well, that's super interesting. Diana's saying that she has had 2 implants. She has them. Now, did you have them removed, Diana?
They were negative implants or good ones. I was I don't know where they came from. I have them.
Mm.
Oh, look at Kenneth's comment too.
Ooh,
Ooh, that's something
very
else.
interesting.
Wow, Edward.
Jeez, Edward. I wouldn't mind seeing that clip. Is it on your channel or anything? Do you have it posted anywhere?
Hmm. Okay, that's cool.
Ooh, that's interesting as well. I love our community. Jeez.
Mm,
Huh.
Mm,
And look at Misha. Misha. Wow.
that's interesting.
These are,
Mm.
yeah.
mm,
See, I think if someone in our
interesting.
community passed and I didn't know, or like we wouldn't have a way of finding out because I don't know them in real life or even their name to even know that it was an obituary, for that person, I would want them to come visit me so I knew where they were or that they had passed. So I'm putting that out there,
Mhm, mhm.
like I'd want to know. Who's this? Nora Hill. She's been channeling a certain fairy for years. She was terrified. Yeah, yeah. I think the magic is strong, and you feel it. There was a feeling to that. It was different. It was
Yeah.
very volatile.
I haven't seen anything, but I have, I had one friend back in Saskatoon who she would always have stuff happen to her, and it's since she was a kid. And she told me all of her cool stories and stuff. And yeah, it seemed like they didn't necessarily follow her, but anywhere she lived, she would have new ones because she could tell it was different. So she moved into this new apartment, and she would go for a shower, and when she would step in the shower, the phone would start to ring because this is still when we had phones on the walls and stuff. And she would get out to answer it, and it would stop. And she'd get back in, and it would start. So eventually she learned just not to get out of the shower for the phone ringing because it was never a real phone call. And
Oh
then I
no.
was over at her house one time, and we were talking about this one rave that we had been to, and about this song that was playing at a certain time. We had been talking there, and it was funny because she was telling me some story about her life, and it was all very touching, and I don't remember, but that's what she said. And she's telling me this heartfelt story, and suddenly I went, oh, I gotta go dance. And I took off and went to go dance. So we were talking about the song that was playing that made me go do that. And I said, I have it in my car, just hang on, or the car, because I borrowed my roommate's car, and went and grabbed the cassette, because this was a while ago, and brought it back in. And
What
so
did you say? Grabbed a what?
a cassette,
What's that?
very funny. So we put it in, and we're like, okay, instead of, because it's short anyway, so we're like, instead of searching for the song, we'll just let it play through. So we put it on, and we start to talk, and then suddenly it stops, and then it like rewinds or fast forward or something, and then it flips over, because you could, the kind that would flip side to side. So it flips over, and then it starts to play, and it's at the beginning of the song that we were talking about.
Oh, wow. How fun.
Cool.
That gave me the
And,
chills.
and we're both like staring at the remote for the stereo on the coffee table. Both of us are like, And then it lands on the song that we want. And we're like, okay, thank you. That's very helpful.
That's fun.
My other cool experience would have been that, so way back. So my dad had MS, and shortly after he was diagnosed, my sister and I went to not our church, because I think that they locked our church, but the other church, which was fancier and prettier, like the Ukrainian Catholic Church, was really beautiful. So we went there, and we went there to pray like good little Catholic girls. And nobody was in there. And while we were there, we could hear singing, and it sounded like angels singing. And my sister was the first one to notice it. And to this day, I'm like, it had to have been just like something playing through the speakers, but my sister swears that it was not. And like she had, I think that she had, Trina, or if you're still here, you could fill in the blanks. I don't know. She seemed pretty insistent that it was not anything playing over the speaker. And she was a lot older than me, so I really have no idea. And it's just such a vague memory, but it was like the angels were like, yeah, you'll be okay. Don't worry. But anyway, yeah, I think those are probably my biggest ones.
Wow.
And then C5 experiences, but yeah, I think we've been over that on other streams.
Yeah.
Which wasn't as exciting as like Victor's. Just stuff moving around. Like, no. Meteors and planes and other things, satellites, they don't move like this. So that's definitely not one of those.
You see though, but you had kind of like a similar experience to Victor, where you were with somebody that
Yes.
experiences that on a pretty
Yeah.
common basis. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
if
made
you're,
me think of that story.
yeah, it's like if you're
Yeah.
around them, then it's bound to happen. You know.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now I'll share one more experience. Is I was with that same person that I had all these other experiences with, and probably the weirdest thing that happened. It wasn't the UFO sighting. It was waking up one morning, and I looked at her, and she looked like death warmed over. I was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she goes, "They came last night, and I tried and tried and tried to wake you up, and they were standing literally right there beside your bed." And I was like, "Who?" And she goes, "Grace." That's all she said. And that's
Huh.
my first-hand experience. I don't remember anything. I must have been put in the, how they knock out your partner or something, or they put you in some kind of deep sleep if they come to get you, and then nobody seems to wake up in the house. That's probably the weirdest one, because it gave me the chills, and I immediately, because we were still in bed when this conversation took place, I immediately looked over on the carpet because we had kind of thick carpet in the bedroom, and I immediately looked over at the carpet to see if I could see footprints or something. I didn't see any.
Hmm.
So, which I was kind of just, I expected to see, something. So,
Did you have any weird dreams that night?
no.
Nothing, no.
But see, that's
Hmm.
also the very bedroom where I was laying in bed one night and it just turned off my light. I was reading or something, just turned off my light. She was already asleep. And that's the night I heard like a studio coming on in my ears. It's like I could hear, that sound when Marty McFly. I hate to reference this movie, but he's at Doc Brown's at the beginning of the movie, and he plugs in that amp with
Mm-hmm.
his guitar, and it goes boom. It was kind of like that sound, and then I heard boop 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 boop, boop, and I was like, I can fucking hear. I can hear you. I said it in my mind. Excuse my language. I can hear you, and then it sounded like slap, like they slapped a button, and I was laying there like, what in the heck was
Whoa.
that? Yeah, so stuff like
Not
that.
usually.
And it all happened when I was around her.
Mm.
All of it. All
Huh.
of it. So,
That's
yeah, great
pretty
topic
wild.
tonight, Millie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what it is? I just want other people to like. I don't know if they hear like these crazy stories and they're like, oh, my awakening hasn't been like that, and I didn't have anything like over the top like that. For people to realize that a lot of the things that we experience anyway are things that other people wouldn't experience either. So they don't all have to be these big over the top crazy
Hmm.
things. I mean, sometimes it could be a lot more subtle, but it's just something that we always notice happen, or that happens to us, and maybe not to the level of high strangeness that your friends, Trista and Victor, have happened to them, but still, it is strange, maybe not bizarre, nonetheless. Are you frozen again?
Oh yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, I just realized that you're not sitting like that.
I thought she's a ventriloquist.
I
I
thought she
am.
was doing
I
the
am.
thinking pose.
Hmm. I
The
see
Or
that.
is it
confused
here? Or
pose.
is it here?
Mm,
I don't know.
that's
I don't
good.
know.
All right. Well, Diana definitely sees dead people. I don't know if she said anywhere she talks to dead people. Kim seems to see some stuff too, and Edward got some orbs by him, which I think he says he'll try to post tomorrow. That's been pretty cool.
He's going to post that video that has the orb coming out of his head, out of his.
That's wild.
That's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that. And then I think Diana's going to send some photos of her implants.
And no,
Oh,
Karen, I wasn't frozen the entire time. I was unfrozen for a good chunk of time until I started to talk again, and then it froze me.
Mm.
Sorry to
Just
interrupt.
just doing her ventriloquism again.
Yeah.
Mm.
she has
That's
pictures of
really
her
you're really
implants.
good.
Whoa. I see, and I can see orbs. Like if you guys were having a live, and let's say there was an orb fly by Trista, which I'm thinking I maybe have seen an orb on Trista's
Hmm.
live.
Oh, pardon me. I'm yawning. I remember you telling me that
I can't tell,
recently. Yeah.
but
It was
yeah,
recently. Yeah.
recently. But like I could see them. Like if I'm watching a live, I can definitely see orbs on people. Like and that'll be like. It's funny if I click on a reader that's got a lot of orbs, I'm like, oh man, she's got a lot of ancestors, and I don't know if I haven't figured out yet if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I tend to stay. So for me, it's kind of good. I don't know.
Well, it certainly is interesting.
Hmm. Yes, it is. Well, we're almost at the end, or we are at the
Oh yeah,
end. I
we're well
don't
past it.
see, yeah, I don't see anybody else
We
having any.
noticed that is sometimes.
What?
Victor said, well past it. And I said, not as bad as sometimes.
Yeah,
No,
sure,
no. Yeah,
sure.
but we started later too, so it's really late for everyone, and I don't want to keep people
Yeah.
here very late. So I thank you all for sharing your experiences. Lucky, you need to write a book, or I hope that you have them somewhere so that people could really listen to this stuff because it's pretty great.
Oh, I just,
I even have the title just came to me. I
Oh,
was a
good.
child who could see ghosts, and my parents didn't like it at all, or something.
There, there you go.
Is
Very
the or
real long,
something
they
is the
did.
really
or
long,
something part of it? Is
Mm,
that part of the title? Or something?
or something.
I keep it. Oh,
That would make it
Diana.
fun.
Oh boy, my
Oh,
family would be very disappointed. They would be very upset with that.
or you can write it with a different name. You can use the name Lucky.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right, because that doesn't exist anywhere else. My family doesn't know anything about this kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That works. Thank you, Billy. That actually works. If I change
yeah,
all the names,
yeah, to protect the innocent.
A
oh,
bug
that's
zapper.
great.
I hadn't
Really?
considered a bug zapper. Wow,
Oh my
Me
God.
either.
that's a lot
Huh,
of energy right there.
it is. My neighbors had a bug zapper that was so loud that I could hear it zap over in my yard. It was wild. I was like, oh my God, that poor bug.
Yeah, they have to make it the zap loud so you don't hear that poor murdered insect every time
Mm,
it happens.
yeah,
Ugh.
just call it Charlie, my childhood ghost friend. See, there you go.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. I like that. All right, guys. Thank you for staying with us. Have a great week. I don't know who hosts next week. Trista or Victor? Victor, maybe? I don't know. There's a list somewhere, but we'll surprise you.
I think it's Victor. I think.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you. Have a good night. See you next week.
Namaste, my friends.
Bye. Love you
Bye.
guys. I'm waving.
Bye.
Bye. Ventriloquist
Bye.
waving.
Yes, it's a ventriloquist wave.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Bye.